What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves. Hi, welcome to another great episode of the All Around. I am your gracious host, Dr. Anthony, and we have some hot topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. Unfortunately, Ida will not be joining the show this year. She is going to be working on her YouTube channel, so hopefully we can get her back on here as a guest and as a commentator and contributor to certain topics and certain discussions, but who knows? She may come back, she may not. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring out my producer, Mark Lee, to the stage.
How you doing?
Hi,
glad
Mark.
to see
How
you.
are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm glad you're doing
Apologies,
good. Keeping
crazy.
busy as always and all along
Yes.
those lines and everything. I know we got some hot topics. I just had a quick question to ask you based on a conversation I had with a restaurant worker friend of mine and all along those lines, because they had an interesting thought that I was thinking about you when they gave me this thought. And I was like, she may have a point. I got to ask Dr. A if she thinks she's right. Because she was thinking that we in the West, meaning here in the United States, and all of us, whether it be black or white or whatever, that we project sickness on ourselves. Because she said that she hates going to the doctor because she feels that a lot of times we are too busy worrying about the sickness that we're making ourselves sick and everything. So I know we're going to get to some other important topics, but I just wondering, do you think that she may have a point that sometimes we make ourselves sick by thinking about the sickness that we may have or may not have?
I think she does have a point because it's called manifestation. And sometimes people do manifest things. And once you manifest it and speak it and believe it, then things start happening because you believe that that's what's going to take place. I know, like, I suffer from allergies and, different things or whatever. So I know that I'm very particular about what I eat. I don't, pretty much manifest things or whatever, but I'm very particular about what I eat, who I eat it from, and who's cooking and, things like that or whatever. I don't worry about illnesses and sickness, but she does have a point. Some people are, saying that they're sick and they believe that they're sick and their bodies respond. So, your brain is the head and, your body is, responding to what you think, what you're feeling and things like that. And so, yes, some people can manifest sickness upon themselves. And I just tell people to, have a clean mind, a clean spirit, a clean heart, and just not focus upon the negative and look at the positive, because what you say in manifestation, it comes to pass. The tongue is a very powerful thing and a mighty thing. So if you believe it, you speak it, you claim it, it's going to happen. So I don't say anything in terms of negativity towards myself, in terms of like other people and sickness. Well, I take that back. For Trump, I did, you know what I'm saying? I was hoping he would die from cardiac arrest, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But for the most part, I don't really do that, to think it and believe that I'm ill and focusing on stuff like that. I'm just not doing that, because I do believe that once you start believing that you have something, that your body is going to respond and react as if you actually have it. Doesn't say that you do have it, but your body is going to think that you actually have it. So yes.
Yeah, and he was in the news recently because he was in part of that lovely Epstein list, because apparently both him and Clinton were on that list of people that apparently were going to a certain island to deal with child labor and everything. And as I was telling you offline, and I did find the athlete's name, but there was a Tampa Bay shortstop that is Latin American that apparently might be losing his job. And we know that they have $1 million contracts because apparently he's facing allegations that he had a brief relationship with a 14-year-old girl and gave her mother a small car and thousands of dollars in exchange for her consent and all along those lines. So he's 22 years old now. So I'm thinking he's probably a teenager himself when this incident happened. But we do know that there are different rules that different cultures have about how they handle child relationships and everything. So maybe he was trying to pay off the mom and everything, because it said.
Well, the thing about it is a lot of people get engrossed in relationships. But before I go there, I want to touch upon the Bill Clinton. Now Trump, I do believe he wanted underage girls, but Bill Clinton, it was already debunked and clarified that he was on the plane in regards to the Bill Clinton Foundation going to a location, not necessarily to Epstein's Island. He just flew on the plane going to a certain location that was regard to to the Bill Clinton Foundation. So there is no substantiated evidence that he was ever in any wrongdoing and things like that, whatever. So yes, he was mentioned in the paperwork, but there, like I said, there was no substantiated evidence on his behalf that he was even with underage girls. Now for Trump, I believe anything's possible, because I mean he has a sexual fetish regarding to his own child, Ivanka. So I wouldn't put anything past him. But as far as the athlete is concerned, he probably did do what he said that he did in terms of the 14-year-old girl and the parent giving consent. But this happens in third world countries and other countries all the time, that the child is sold into marriage at a certain age, and that's their culture. I mean, it's even a part of the United States. There are states here that has child marriages and can give your child to a man if you give consent that they can have your daughter or your son. And so my thing is, I understand that some people are against it, but this is just a reality. I'm not for it, I'm not against it. I'm just speaking in terms of practicality and factual evidence. So I understand they move swiftly, but when you're telling one person your culture is against something in our culture, it's the standard, how can you say that or whatever? I'm not saying that is right, and I'm not saying that is wrong, but we already know that it is wrong. But I'm not supporting any of that, because that's not my culture, that's their culture. And we see it all the time, where you have older men marrying younger child brides and things like that. They had a few years ago, they had a child bride who escaped her marriage, and things like that or whatever. So this stuff takes place every day in those different cultures, in the Indian culture, the Hindu, and all of those cultures over there. They do have child brides, and they do marry females who are 12, 13, 14 years old in their particular culture. And I think when they try to migrate to the United States, they migrate after they have become a full legalized adult over here, so that there are no ramifications, and there's no backlash. But again, there are certain states in the United States that allow children to be married to men, but again, that's white men. So we already know that different rules apply for different culture. You have the protection with the reflection for the protection. So we're seeing it play out right now with Donald Trump. They're making and changing rules, because had that would have been President Barack Obama, we wouldn't even be sitting in this situation. We would already be watching him be escorted off to jail and things like that. If it would have been another black politician who did what he did and made those egregious statements and caused a riot and things like that, we already know that they will be in handcuffs and thrown to the wolves a long time ago. So it's really funny how they make the rules and they change them accordingly to whom the person that's being accused or whatever. So we see that they're changing the rules for him. So there's no surprise there, but we already know how that goes. So again, even with the whole Epstein thing, I honestly don't believe he killed himself. I honestly believe someone killed him, or some people had him killed, because once he started talking, the shit was gonna hit the fan, and it was a whole lot of people that was gonna go down. Because like I was saying on a previous episode, when Ida was on, I had to check this white woman about, saying black men are trafficking, sex trafficking. No, we're gonna start where it starts. We're gonna start from the originators. No, this is a white man thing. And so they have been doing this for years and years and years, going over to these countries in these brothels, sleeping with these young girls, young underage girls, and the more, and the thing about it is they pay more for virgins. So they get a virgin and a young girl, they pay more for that one or whatever. So it's this is nothing new or whatever. But again, the rules change according to the accused, the person that's being accused.
But speaking of egregious, there was a certain candidate that got in trouble while we were on hiatus and everything, because apparently she was not willing to say that the Civil War, but one of the causes of the Civil War was slavery and all along those lines, because apparently Nikki Haley, out of just down the road from me down in South Carolina, had a so lovely comment about the nature of slavery within the context of civil wars, because somebody wanted to ask her, her thoughts around that. And I think she kind of evaded it. And I heard that Mr. Trump recently evaded it as well and everything, because he was saying he could be a better negotiator than Honest Abe and all along those lines. So they're all trying to do revisionist history.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm going to start with Trump, then I'm going to go to Nikki. The thing about it is, we already know Trump is a dumbass. We already know that he has no historical backing. He has no intellect whatsoever when it comes to things. We already know that, it's just not there. And so to allow him to, say things of, about, they would have negotiated. No, what you're basically saying is you would have let the South keep the black people enslaved, and you would have let the North know that they were going to be enslaved. So, people have to read between the lines and read between the context and things like that or whatever, because when he came up with MAGA, the slogan, Make America Great Again, America has never been great. America was built off the backs of slaves. America was built off the back of tyranny. America was built off the back of, all of this disarray and all of this chaos. So when was America ever great? Especially for people of color, especially for black people, and especially for, foreigners and things like that. And what they fail to realize, even the Jews, when you first migrated, when your people first migrated here, they didn't even consider you to be white. They treated you worse than they did, a black or Hispanic. And so, my thing is, so it's funny how when the tables turn and, you get acceptance into the white society, how, oh, you want to dictate this and you want to dictate that. Oh, black people can't say this. Black people can't say that. Black people need to, do this. Black people need to align with us. Black people. No, we don't need to do anything. What we need to do is step aside and let y'all do what y'all do. Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to be pushed into the bullshit or whatever. Because when we're out there fighting, when we're out there on the front lines, where are you? Honestly, where are you? Because, my thing is, y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want to say, but the second that we critique y'all and, oh, you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Jew. No, we're anti-bullshit. That's what we are, because we don't want to deal with the bullshit. Just like when the Jewish woman got on there talking about, oh, black people need to do this and black people need to do that, and she misquoted history. First of all, what you need to do is you need to learn history. That's what you need to do before you try to quote and you're wrong and you misquote history about what we should do and what we should think. That's what you should do or whatever. But, as far as Trump, like I said, he's a complete idiot. Some people, oh, he's a genius. He's not a genius. He's nowhere near a genius. And my thing is, for the life of me, I don't understand why people try to vote Republican, because this man has already told you he is going to be a dictator. It's going to be authoritative government. He wants his family basically to run the government. He wants it to be like the monarch over in England, and we're not having that. So it's about, protecting and preserving the democracy. And as far as Nikki Haley is concerned, Nikki Haley is a foreigner herself. She's from Hindu descent, one of them Hindu Sikh descent, but she never claims that. She wants to portray herself as a white woman, and for her to sit there and say, the Civil War wasn't about slavery, it wasn't fought about slavery. No, that's exactly what it was fought about. The South did not want to relinquish the control over, enslaved people. That's why they fought. That's why they wanted to disband themselves from, release themselves from the Union and move out of the Union. And, that was particularly why why the Civil War was fought. But for her to not say, that the Civil War was fought, we already know who you catering to. We already know who you catering to. Your base. Your base is a bunch of white supremacists, bunch of white racists who think along a certain line. When Donald Trump, even on the news, they just said when Donald Trump was in some part of Iowa, it was nothing but white people in there. He said, this is our country. Not including nobody else, but he said it's our country. First of all, Donald Trump, you're an immigrant. Let's just start there. Your parents are immigrants. Your grandparents are immigrants. So when you're saying go back to your country, tell your folks, be the first ones to go back to their country. Tell your wife to go back to her country. Tell your in-laws who bought their citizenship from you to go back to their country, since they want to address immigrants and things like that, and blacks and stuff like that or whatever. So I wasn't really trying to get political with you today because I wanted to discuss Cat Williams, but we're gonna
get the cat. Yeah.
But you brought out the politics in me. I was gonna save that for a later show. But it's just the hypocrisy behind all of it. And then for Tim Scott, I know he's not running, he dropped out or whatever, but this black man from South Carolina, is going to say that America is not racist. And I'm just like, what America are you living in? Which America are you living in? You tried to shake this man's hand on national TV. He skirted around you and would not shake your hand on national TV, but you're holding an allegiance to this racist fucker. And he wouldn't even shake your hand. So he demeaned you on national TV. He didn't even look at you as a man, as an equal, because he refused to shake your hand. And for the life of me, I can't understand why people would want to vote Republican.
He ain't the only one. He ain't the only one, Dr. Anthony. Don't forget we got this idiot in North Carolina that's doing the same thing, that's running for governor and is definitely a very conservative evangelical type that's got some very harsh words against the LGBT community and a number of other communities.
Look, let me tell you something. You know what I'm saying? The ones who come out and speak against another race or another person who within their sexuality are the main ones that are participating in their sexuality behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't want to be exposed. Because my thing is, LGBTQ person, not saying that they're not, has never been, disrespectful and never been racist towards me. I don't care who you sleeping with. I don't care what you doing. What I care about is how you treat me at the end of the day. And if you show me respect, I'm going to show you respect. Your sexuality has nothing to do with my relationship with you. Your sexuality has nothing to do with, if I like you or not. It's based off of my interaction with you. If my interaction with you is negative or poor, then that will determine if I like you or not. It's not based off of, your sexuality and who you're sleeping with. I could care less. You don't pay my bills, I don't pay yours. So whatever, makes your boat float, whatever, you do to get your rocks off, that's on you. It's not on me. But again, it's about the action and the interaction that we have as a human race, as black and white, that we, engage in on how you treat me. Your sexuality means nothing to me. So, for them to, try to double down and harpoon on, a person who doesn't believe or think like them or look like them or, have the same whatever they want to call it, moral compass or whatever, I say, sweep around your own backyard. Because the question we dig, we're gonna find some things in your own backyard that you don't want to be brought to the public eye.
Yeah, what's that old saying they got about throwing from a glass house? Because I forgot the exact saying, but basically, if you throw from a glass house and it throws back at you, it'll shatter and everything. But there's a saying that goes with that and everything. And I hear you, because I've seen some people do some things, even sexually, that is not necessarily my desire and everything. But if somebody wants to get beat up, because you got some people that are into that whole dominatrix thing and everything, but it ain't for me. But if it's for other people, that's on them and everything. And I'm not going to knock them for wanting to go in that direction. I'm not trying to get tied up and beat up, but if they want to go that direction, that's on them and everything. So I agree with you on that. It's a matter of personal choices, but I'm not trying to control what they're doing in their bedroom. And that's what, to borrow your phrases, is getting their rocks off. More power to them. It's not going to work for me and everything, but it works for them. More power to them.
No, exactly. And that's my thing. you know, people want to worry about what other people are doing. If you just keep your nose in your business and stay in your lane, this would be a whole different type of situation. This would be a whole different type of conversation. But, you know, you're so busy worried about what other people got going on and what other people are doing that, you know, you want to control the masses, and you want to control this and you want to control that. Look, I don't care what, you know, you got going on. I don't care what you're doing. Like I said, if it does not pertain to me and it does not affect me in any type of way, hey, more power to you. It is what it is. It's
but speaking of controlling the masses, I know you said we wanted to get to that, and I do have a couple of videos about it. But there is a comedian that is well known. You alluded to him earlier and everything, but he did have this very wonderful interview where he was basically saying that a lot of Black Hollywood, and that's the reason that we have some of our actors wearing dresses and everything is tied to the Illuminati, and that maybe they sold their soul to the devil, and all along those lines. So he definitely.
Hold tight. Before we go there, I want to finish up the political.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I want to get there. But I was just gonna say, you know, people need to really hone in and listen to what these people are putting out there, because everything that Donald Trump stated in the past, he did. You know, he stated now that he's going to turn this into an authoritarian government. He's going to turn from the democracy into, you know, people who are loyalists to him. And that's not how government functions. You know, you win, you lose, you move forward, you move on, you know. And for people who don't think that their vote matters, your vote matters, you know, because I tell people all the time, you have to read and pay attention to the fine print. Republicans are changing your voting zones. They're changing their redlining, they're gerrymandering, they're doing all of this stuff, but you're not paying attention and you're not voting. So they're putting themselves in a position of, you know, popular status, so that they will always remain in power, so that they will always have control. But y'all want to vote Republican. Y'all think that's the smart thing to do. But my thing is, you know, you need to understand what these people are doing, and these people are playing dirty, and they're not playing in your best interest. Because my thing is, they want your vote, but they don't want you in the party, meaning Black people, brown people, and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you can be a fool and, you know, give them your vote, or you can vote for somebody that's going to actually do something for you. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, the Democrats this, the Democrats that. First of all, the Republicans and the Democrats' roles were reversed. You know, if we want to really look at it and be historical about it, their roles were reversed. The GOP was, you know, became the Grand Old Party, and the Grand Old Party represents white supremacy and white racism. They had these three white women on, I want to say it was Good Morning America, one of those early morning talk shows, when I was at home listening over the break. And so they were like, you know, oh, you know, you shouldn't vote for Donald Trump because of X, Y, Z, because, you know, I've always voted Republican, but this time I'm going to vote Democrat. Well, you know, white woman and white women that were on that show that you experienced, y'all don't give a shit about stuff until stuff happens to you, because y'all put them in office. You know, y'all lied to Black women, and y'all lied to other people talking about, oh, you know, we're going to stand with you guys. We're going to vote this way and we're going to vote that way. The numbers don't lie. Y'all voted heavily for Donald Trump. So you support the white supremacy, and you support all the stuff that he stands for. So guess what? Go over there and deal with the white supremacy, and go over there and live and let us live, because we're not, you know, fooling with your hypocrisy, and we're not fooling with your BS, you know, because anytime something happens to them, they want us to stand behind them, but you don't vote with us, but you want us to stand behind you, and you want us to support you. So now we're not doing none of that. We're going to stand over here with the Democrats, where we know we get the votes that we need. We know that we get the support that we need. We know that we get all of this stuff. So, you know, go over there and let the white men do you how they're doing you, or whatever, because that's what you voted in office, and that's what you know, that's what you support. So, you know, Mark, we're going to touch again up on this subject at a later date, because, you know, I was preparing for Cat Williams or whatever. So, you know, you can go ahead and do your little intro and give me enough time to get a little drink of water.
A drink of water, because this video is actually a long video. It's actually will set the table and all along those lines. So let's check out this response to what Ludacris was saying, because he actually had a rap response to Cat Williams. But first, they had the setup of what was going on. So let's check out this video while you get that drink of water.
So there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us, we were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person they said was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Cat Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done a... Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people?
Yes.
It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200.
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now?
10.
Come on, man.
200 million. I might need to get me one of them old women look the same.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't going to wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay.
Holy shit, man. Cat Williams eating up the entire industry right now. Listen, I don't know if anybody's thought about it before, but I do not want to be enemies with the likes of Cat Williams.
Whatever's heavy on my heart is always on my mind. Like Snoop's cannabis shredder, I'm always on my grind. They throwing shade cause niggas could never take my shine. I bring my watch collection on my jet, let me take my time. Like fine wine, I'm aging like Benjamin. Top 5, I'm worth mentioning. Bring me rappers, I'm lynching them. See the pendulum swing, Jesus with diamond thorns. Ludacris, swaddled in Gucci linens when I was born. Never been Illuminati, only Illuminati. And I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Now I'm married with kids, the evolution of life. Never been a clout chaser, never say shit for likes. R.I.P. John Singleton. You never have to flex when you earn every one of your Fast and Furious checks. Afro with the sideburns. Yeah, that's my signature. Addictions on the rise. Comedians check your temperature.
Oh, that was so gross. That was so gross. What was that, man? Now, when you talk about people being used to spread an agenda, this to me is a phenomenal example of somebody being used to spread an agenda. So, Luda, here's what we're going to need you to do, okay? We're going to need you to rap because that's the way that you reach these people, right, Luda? That's the way that you reach these communities. You got to rap it to them. You can't just say it to them, Luda, okay? We're going to need you to get in the studio, put on a Kanye instrumental because Kanye's down, right? Kanye's down with the streets. And then you need to rap that you're not part of the Illuminati, okay, Luda? Okay, click. That's how I fucking picture that
Okay, first of all, let me address the one that just made his comment because I never would have played his video if I would have known what he said. These people, this is how you reach these people. You know what I'm saying? First of all, who the fuck is these people? You know, you're talking about black people, you're talking about minority people. These people, we're beyond rap. You know, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're scholars, we're intellectuals, and stuff like that. So who was he talking about? These people. I would have never given him a platform if I would have known that his comments were these people. You know what I'm saying? So who are you talking about? Talking about the only way that we can understand something is through rap. First of all, most intellectuals don't even listen to rap. You know what I'm saying? Second of all, you know, what are you referencing? These people? Who the fuck is these people? You know, like honestly, who is these people? And I need you to give me his name or whatever, because you know people don't need to support this foolishness from him or whatever. You talking about some these people? Like we're not smart enough to understand the human language in the syntax of language without being rapped to. That's the only way that we can understand something. Hey, get the fuck out of here! Like seriously, I'm sorry. I told my father I was gonna stop cursing in 2024, but you know, it is what it is.
There was an event that took place yesterday, actually, and apparently this is where Cedric the Entertainer responded and everything.
Hold on one second. Let me address Ludacris. Hold on one second. So, anyways, with the whole Ludacris thing, no, you didn't say you was lying, Cat Williams. All you said was, you know, that's your signature. Was the sideburns and you know the bald head or whatever, the afro. You said that's your signature, but where's the lie? All these people that are coming out saying that Cat Williams said this and saying that Cat Williams said that, but you never called him a liar. All you just saying is he need to chill, he need to do this, he need to do that, but you never once said that he was lying. Go ahead and play the next clip.
Next up is Cedric the Entertainer and his response.
Listen, how many times is this your first Golden Globes?
This is actually my first Golden Globe. I
Really?
haven't been here, you know. So.
Okay, so what we doing tonight? What's the vibe?
Well, you know, it feels like the party of Hollywood.
That
We
is
celebrating.
True. That is true.
So, you know, I'm gonna walk around and give people tequila shots all night long. That's gonna be my move. It's like, hey, shots, guys, and then we root. It get louder and louder as the night goes.
Cedric, what aren't you doing right now? I mean, you neighborhood, you have your home video show, you just had the SETI Awards, you got barbecue company with Anthony. What in the world aren't you doing?
I know, man. We got the book out, flipping boxcars. That's hot, you know. And then I'm gonna do the Soulful Super Bowl Soulful Celebration too.
That's
gonna
right.
be
You and
fun.
Tashina are hosting
Yeah,
that.
so
Okay.
that's gonna be great. So I'm just staying busy, having a good time, you know. And I'm really happy to be back. The strike's over. Happy to be back shooting the Neighborhood 6 seasons. We're excited.
I saw that you did respond to Cat Williams.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate that, SETI. I hate that y'all, like, that there's any sort of issue.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting time now. People get on these blogs and they just, you know, start just spewing off stuff that's not even factual.
Right.
But, you know, I let the fodder just go out there until I'm ready to respond to
Your
it.
work speaks for
I
itself.
am who I am.
I
you
love
know, I
it.
stand on that, right? Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Stand on business.
Hey,
Ain't that what the
come on
kids
now.
say?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got all the new sayings.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Stand on business. I love it. Good
All
to
right.
see you, my man.
Thank you, babe.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, while he took the high road, Bruce actually alluded to
Hold on
what
one
was going
second.
on.
But the thing about it is, what high road did he take? He was like, you know, people, you know, are out there saying what they're saying and doing what they're doing. Not one time did you say that he was a lie, you know. But it's been if you've been on social media, it's been a lot of videos popping up here and there about Cat Williams, you know, and showing everything that he said to actually be factual. But you know, they're coming back with these responses or whatever. But not one time did you say that he was lying, you know.
Bruce
So you know, I
actually
think,
said-
you know, because my
Yes,
thing
yes,
is, you know, you're over there, you're saying one thing or whatever, but you don't want to be exposed about what you did to get to where you are and things like that. And Cat Williams is like, you know, he's standing on his business. He's a man, and he's standing on his business as a man, and he didn't have to drop his draws and, you know, play that role and get, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, to get the money that, you know, that he's making and that he's entitled to. But other people out there, you know, running around talking about they're doing this, they're doing that, but you did some shady shit to, you know, get boosted up and to get to where you are. But you never called it.
I got two more short videos. One is Bruce's response. But first, let's hear what Cat Williams had to say when apparently he was shading some of those entertainers. So let's check out this video and then hear Bruce's answer.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, baby, and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range.
And
he's
here's
absolutely
Bruce.
correct. And he's absolutely correct. Let me respond after the videos.
Okay.
He's absolutely correct. You do have to have range, and you do have to have, you know, like options and not be, you know, one dimensional and things of that nature. But I remember there's a video that surfaced of Mark Curry doing an interview where he talks about how Steve came to his set, watched his set, and stole his whole, you know, MO behind the set and didn't even give the man credit for it or whatever, you know. And so Mark was like, you know, he shared words with him, but he didn't say what he said because he was just like, ask him what I said. So, you know, Steve never addressed it, but he, you know, Mark said that he stole. I saw Mark Curry back in the 90s when he came to Northwestern when he was a a fresh comedian at that particular time, and his set was pretty dope and things like that. And I actually met him. I think I got a picture with him. I don't know. I can't remember. But when I was in college, he came to the university and he was, pretty dope or whatever. But he's saying that Steve Harvey stole his whole set. And there are videos that are surfacing now with, the receipts and the proofs. And again, nobody said that Cat Williams lied. They're coming back with the responses, but they didn't say he lied.
Well, that's why I was going to let you hear what Bruce had to say, because Bruce actually looked like
ahead.
he elaborated what he said. But let's check out Bruce.
Steve was, I used to dress in hip hop, Carl Canal. You remember
back
Carl
in the
Canal,
day.
Sean John. I'm on stage with it. Steve said, that stuff, you got on look good when you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
He said, when you go on stage, you need to give him something. Suits. So that's what made me start wearing suits. And, a lot of these comedians in big places and big positions, they do take jokes from the little guys. You know what I'm saying? They do steal them. And Cat, he was just calling out everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, when he said something about earthquake, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was deep.
The earthquake was he couldn't read. I was, that hurt.
Is that true?
No, that's not true. I thought you were talking about me. I said, I know he ain't finna call me. I can't read that good. But he did his thing, and his ratings gonna be good. His tickets gonna sell out.
Tickets is going bananas.
Yeah,
They jacked the prices up.
Of course.
So, in your opinion, is Cat Williams relevant to you?
I think so.
Well, the thing about it is, people got to understand how literacy is. Just calling words doesn't mean that you can read. You have to be able to read with fluidity, and you have to be able to comprehend what you read. And a lot of people out there now is talking about, I can read, but they can't comprehend. So that's not reading. So they got to understand what, reading and comprehension is. So if he said that, he couldn't read and he couldn't understand, well, maybe he has some, some clout behind it or whatever, because he is, in Mensa, he is, a high intellectual. He is, all of these things. And, he does have an in-depth, vocabulary, and he does speak very intelligently. So, I mean, how can you say that, what his truth is not actually his truth, and that's my thing. People always quick to say, oh, well, they're lying, they're this, they're that. How can you tell somebody what their lived experiences are? How can you say that, their truths are not their truths? Just because your lived experiences are different from their lived experiences does not mean that their lived experiences didn't happen. So my thing is, another thing is, if Eddie Griffin started talking about, what went down in Hollywood with who and what, knees gonna shatter, doors gonna break, and glass gonna, crumble. So, my thing is, again, nobody ever said that he was lying. They came out with some smoke. They came out with some heat. They're calling him bitter, and that's the thing. When you state your piece and when you say what you have to say, oh, you're angry, you're this, you're that, when you go against the grain and when you speak against the grain, you're not following the path that, people want you to follow. Some people were talking about, they were angry with Shannon Sharpe, and they should have, Shannon Sharpe should have reined Cat Williams in. Cat Williams is a grown-ass man. How are you going to rein a grown-ass man in? You can't control what somebody else says. You can't control what they do. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to rein him back in? He spoke his truth. He spoke what, he answered the question. Because my thing is, if you don't want to know my response, if you don't want to hear my response, don't ask me the freaking question. Don't ask me to say my piece and then be like, oh, when I say my piece, then my piece doesn't matter. Or, you get angry because I didn't say something that you wanted me to say. He spoke his truth. He spoke what he needed to say. And he said, he went off of his lived experiences. And again, like he said, if you want me to hold you in high regard, and this is quote unquote, me paraphrasing and things like that, then you should have treated me better. And I'm the same way. I'm not going to hold you in high regard and we have some type of beef and we have some type of issues. Nah, you the scum of the freaking earth to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to speak highly of you if we have some issues and we have some beef. Now, how you treat somebody else is how you treat somebody else. All I can do is just go off of my lived experiences and what I have done and what you have done to me. And that's basically what I got from it is these are lived experiences that he has experienced and that he has, gone through. And so he's speaking about his lived experiences. And people get mad about, your story and your lived experiences as if you're making it up. That's prime example with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. How you gonna tell them people how you made them feel? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna tell them people how, you know, how racist you were towards them? How, and you knew you were being racist. You know what I'm saying? So how you gonna tell them how they supposed to feel about their lived experience? And that's another situation, you know what I'm saying, about people trying to dictate another person's narrative and another person's path because they didn't say what you wanted them to say. You know, and the same thing with Cat Williams. He didn't say what you thought that he should have said. This is his interview. This is his story. He's telling his truth. If you don't like it, so be it. And then it is what it is. Mark.
No, but along those same lines and everything, one of the things that he said that I agree with to some degree is that he actually praised Shannon Sharpe because he was saying that Shannon Sharpe was one of the few people that he admired and that he wouldn't go to just anybody's podcast, but there were a very select few that he would even bother to address these kind of conversations with. But he felt that Shannon Sharpe was one that treated people fairly, gave them a platform that was much needed. And he actually said that the only other person that he might have gone to would have been somebody like a Larry King or somebody like that and everything. So he actually put him in some very high praise and all in that notion. And from what I've seen of interviews with Shannon Sharpe, like I said, he's a athlete, but I don't know whether his major was communications, because I do know a number of athletes do have a communications major, but it would not surprise me if it wasn't, because he definitely has a strong communication skills, and it might have even been what he learned from being interviewed by a number of sports reporters as well. But I've watched his show a couple of times, and I've seen this interview a couple of times as well, but he does have a very good style, and it's very relaxed style, and all along those lines. And as I had mentioned to you earlier, apparently the only one that he's trying to catch right now, I think it's something like 50 million. And that was an interview that one of our other great commentators, Joe Rogan, did with Elon Musk. So who knows, he may actually catch it and become one of the most watched YouTube videos if he can get that 50 million, because right now he's in second place and all along those lines. And it was done very rapidly. So I would not be surprised if he doesn't break that record and all along those lines. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I do think, from what I've seen, that, as you just alluded to, Shannon Sharpe, and as I think I told you before, I went to school with Doc Rivers, so I do know that there are some tremendous athletes that are also very well-rounded in their whole philosophies and how they handle things. So I think that he is one of those individuals as well, from what I've seen. And like I said, I think Cat Williams handled the interview well also, but that's just my personal opinion.
But the thing about it is, when you're interviewing somebody, you never know what that person is going to say. Well, we already know Dr. Anthony is unhinged. And, you know, depending on what the topic is, I'm going to come left, I'm going to come right, I'm going to come center, I'm going to come full circle. So you never know what's going to come out of a person's mouth. And you're talking about reining somebody in, I told you before, I left a person's show because of, the hypocrisy and the BS that was, on their show. And I said, I'll never do that show again. And I haven't. And I would never reach out to that person again, because based off of, the interaction and, things like that or whatever. But, you cannot control somebody in an interview. You know what I'm saying? It's either you roll with the punches and you try to, scrap it up from what you can scrap it up from, but you cannot control somebody in an interview. When I'm a guest on people's show, I'm like, you need to know what you're getting before you get me as a guest, because I am not going to sugarcoat my responses. And everybody know that I have been the same since I have been doing, my digital TV show, and I've been doing podcasts and things like that. I have never shifted. I have never wavered. And I'm going to give you my raw, unorthodox, unadulterated response. And if you don't like it, then you can kick rocks. You can kiss my yellow ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the bottom line. But people are so quick to say, oh, he shouldn't have done this and he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done what? He's speaking his truth. He's speaking his story. I'm in the process of writing my memoir, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking my story. I'm speaking my lived experiences. You can't tell me what my lived experiences are. You can't tell me how to feel based off of my lived experiences. You can't tell me what I'm supposed to think based off of what I have been through and what I have gone through. Those are my lived experiences. And if you've never walked in my shoes, which you have never walked in my shoes, then you have no grounds, to say what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing. The same with Cat Williams.
Right.
Sharp knew what he was doing when he brought Cat Williams on the show, and I'm hoping Cat will see my podcast and he'll be willing to come on my podcast so we can have a conversation. But he already knew what type of person Cat Williams was or is, and he already knew where this interview was going to go and things like that. So people need to, back the hell up. This is their show podcast. You're not putting any money towards it. You're not doing anything towards, the support of the show, except for, making blanket statements and blanket comments, so, my thing is kick rocks, do what you do. Go watch somebody else's. Because, I always tell you, I don't care if they watch my show or not, because my show is going to be successful regardless. And my show has been successful, and my show is successful.
No, it's very successful. And just to let you know, the gentleman that you want to know where I got that from and everything is a fellow live streamer and all along those lines. But his name is Cassius Morris. I don't know him personally. I don't know the gentleman, but apparently he has got some traction. And I can hear what you're saying with that notion of those people and everything. But apparently that is who the gentleman is and all along those lines. I was just trying to find some of the clips of the different responses and everything. So
send it to me because I have a problem with him. I'm going to communicate and I'm going to reach out. Because I'm gonna let him know these people. What do you mean by these people? We are very, very well intellectuals. We can articulate ourselves and we can do things without rap. Honestly. You know?
Well, apparently he's a music and entertainment journalist and everything, because he also had an interview with some rockers and some other folks. But yes, he is in that space of interviewing stars and everything. But you can reach out to him. I might reach out to him as well.
But the thing about it is, my thing is, because he made the comment, these people. Right. Who the fuck are you talking about? These people. These people, when you say that they can only, they can only understand is rap. You need to rap it because that's what they understand. You're meaning black people. You know what I'm saying? So you have categorized us and basically demeaned us and saying that we're not intellectuals. We're not smart enough to have a decent conversation, and we can't, communicate with each other except through rap. That's the only way that we can speak, and that's the only way that we can, understand something. Please get out of here. Like I'm quite sure, one of the little kindergartners can run circles around him. One of the Mensas, you know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, they don't even listen to the rap.
Yeah, and apparently he had, because I know we brought it up on one of our shows, but apparently I have to go watch and see what he said. But he was asking whether Will Smith had the right to slap Chris Rock, and apparently he's had some other shows as well, because he's been in this live streaming space for a while. But like I said, we'll reach out to him, and who knows, maybe we'll have him on the show. We'll also reach out to Kat and maybe some of those comedians as well. I did have one other video that you had mentioned to me, and this was this whole notion of folks that are willing to run to the other side of the field, see whether the grass is greener on the other side. And we have a tearful Jonathan Majors reaction to everything that was going on. So I don't, if you like, I'll play the video, and I'm sure you got some response to what he's got to say.
Of course, play the video.
Let's play the video. See what Jonathan Majors.
I was absolutely shocked and afraid.
Breaking his silence and getting emotional as he spoke out for the first time since he was convicted of reckless assault and harassment.
Sorry. I haven't seen my daughter in a long time. A lot of it has to do with this situation.
Wiping away tears as he talked to Lindsay Davis in an exclusive ABC News interview.
And I'm standing there, and the verdict comes down. I say, how is that possible? Based off the evidence, based off the prosecution's evidence.
But that evidence did convince a jury that he caused multiple injuries to his then-girlfriend Grace Jabari in a scuffle last March that was caught by street surveillance cameras.
How did those injuries come about?
I wish to God I knew.
He was a rising star, big time, in Hollywood, from Creed 3 to his role as Kang the Conqueror.
You thought you could win.
His film Magazine Dreams was even getting Oscar buzz before it was shelved. The fallout continued when Jonathan was fired by Marvel.
You think you'll ever work in Hollywood again?
Yeah, I do. I pray I do.
Through it all, his new girlfriend, actress Megan Good, has been by his side.
Jonathan, how are you feeling today?
Arriving with him to court and sitting by him during this ABC interview.
I'm so blessed to have her.
There he is in tears. What you got to say about that? He's over there.
His ass should be in tears. That's good for his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because they think the sun rises and sets with them white women. And for the life of me, I don't understand why they would want to, date outside their race and date one of them. Because when they get angry with them, that's what they do. They set them up, they egg them on and get them upset, and then so that they can sue them and take their money. So I don't give a shit, how he's feeling. But I just, what I do care about is Megan Good or whatever. And I'm just like, he ran back to you, a black woman, after all of this, so he wants you to help him pick up the pieces and things like that. You should have left his ass broken and what the hell he was. You know what I'm saying? Because you thought it was greener on the other side. So let his ass stay over there. You know what I'm saying? Let him deal with the fallout and deal with the backlash of being with one of them. You know what I'm saying? So because they're not going to learn their lesson. They're still not going to learn their lesson. There are more and more out there, more and more of them out there that feel like, that's the prize and black women are not the prize. So, my thing is I would have left his ass in the dust, and I would have left his ass where he was. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but speaking of being greener on the other side, I know we've only got about another 10 minutes to go and everything, but there was a relationship, and this particular entertainer, and I do consider athletes to be entertainers as well, definitely had a thing for white women as well. He's had a number of at least one or two of his wives were in that category and everything. But he just had a recent divorce and everything. Because I was, like I said, I was out and about earlier today, so I did see the TV on at the restaurant that I was at, and they were talking about the fact that Tiger Woods is divorcing himself after 30 or 40 years from Nike. Nobody ever probably saw that coming and everything, because he was such a part of the Nike brand and everything. But apparently he and Nike are going their separate ways. And a lot of times people associated Tiger and Nike as being one and the same, just like they associated Michael Jordan with Nike and everything. But I did hear that, and it did kind of catch me off guard. So any thoughts about this divorce?
And again, he's another one. He didn't even say he was black. He said he was Blasian. He wasn't black. He was something or whatever. And I made Blasian up or whatever. That's not a thing. But what I'm saying is, then he wanted the black community to accept him back in and rein him back in, after he did what he did. And then the thing about it is, you did it with trashy ass white women. You did it with waitresses and people of the bottom of the barrel or trailer park and stuff like that. Because when white men date outside their race, they go for the top notch epsilon. Look at Melanie Hobson's. You know what I'm saying? They go for the top notch black women. They don't go for the bottom of the barrels and the whatever and that's out there and stuff. They're gonna go for the top notch. But y'all so desperate that y'all want a freaking white woman that y'all take any goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been walking around just seeing black men with just god awful, just looking, oh my God, just atrocious, and I'm just like, y'all take anything just to say that you got a freaking white woman, you know what I'm saying? And you would stoop down just to, so he's another one that they can keep over there and keep on the other side of the tracks or whatever, because he already said that he's not black anyway. So I can give two rat's asses about what happens to him.
Well, maybe he'll find a African-American corporation that will help cover this money that he lost, because a lot of people will say that the skill set that he had, in addition to the endorsement deals, are the reason that he was able to become a billionaire. So apparently he is, after 27 years, is leaving this 27-year marriage, because it is a corporate marriage.
Well, let him leave. And like you said, African-American, let the Africans have his ass, because we're black Americans. We're not African, and people have to understand that. We were not born on the continent of Africa. We did not migrate to the U.S., and this has nothing to do with, us hating on Africans, because there ain't nobody hating on no damn African. It's just the fact of the matter. We're an American. We're black Americans. We did not come from the continent of Africa. The ancestors may have come from the continent of Africa, but we did not come from the continent of Africa. So I've been dropped African American long time ago. But if you really want to look at the history behind African American, we can get into that later. Jesse Jackson helped term that term or whatever, and we could talk about that on a different show. But as far as Tiger is concerned, they can have his ass, along with Jonathan Majors and the rest of them. They can have his ass. You went out there, you did what you did with that white woman, then she messed over you. Now you want to come back to Megan Good so she can pick your ass up and put your ass back to them together. That's the problem that I have with these so-called like successful black men, y'all want to go over there thinking the grass is greener on the other side, and then when you get played by one of them broads or whatever, then you want to come back for a black woman to save you and pick up the pieces and do what we do or whatever. Nah, stay your ass over there, where you was, because you thought that she was better any damn way.
Yeah, but Dr. Anthony, I have to ask this question as we're got another 5 minutes to go and everything. There is, this society is so wired up and connected up and everything. How are you going to literally attack? I don't care whether it's nighttime, and I did see it was nighttime that just took place and everything, but how are you going to kind of like do this forceful fondling or whatever he was doing that caused these injuries when everybody knows that just about any place in the United States and around the globe, there are cameras everywhere. So how do you...
It doesn't matter what he did or whatever, because she attacked him first. And so the fault is within him when he initiated the relationship. When he did the relationship, so no matter what he did, he was going to be found guilty anyway. You know what I'm saying? So because they hold those broads to high regard, higher than they hold us. So whatever she said happened, it was gonna stand in court anyway. Just like that broad that killed that black African down in Miami, and their family talking about, oh, the black people need to rally. No, we ain't rallying shit, because he said that he didn't give a damn about black women. He said that black women couldn't do nothing for him, so his white woman killed him. So let the white people rally for him, which they never did, and she never went to jail. You know what I'm saying? So they have to understand that the law is not on their side when it comes to one of them. So again, I don't give a shit what happened to his ass. He got what the fuck that he deserved, and that's just my stance on it. And period.
No, but along those same lines and everything, Dr. Anthony, one thing that, and might come back to a political discussion, because I was going to bring it up on one of our other shows. There is this notion that, and it's kind of alluding to what you're saying, because, if we go back to Emmett Till, there was some folks that made a rap accusation that stuck and everything, because they claimed that, he was doing cat whistles. And in other cases, they were claiming that these white women were being raped. I am of the opinion that there are some people that can do that kind of framing even in the 21st century, even though there's some people even on this network that will tell me that that is not true, that nobody would get caught in these kind of rape lies or in these kind of cat whistle lies. But I think that it can happen even in the 21st century, the year 2024.
Oh, it has happened. Jonathan Majors is proof of it, that it happened. You know what I'm saying? She went in there, she cried her white tears, lied her way out of it, says she feared, and this, because that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So it's still happening, and I'm quite sure whomever told you that is not a person, is not a black person. You know what I'm saying? So they'll never see it between, from our eyes, which I don't expect them to see it anyway. But the raping of black people is still there. And like I said, it's playing out in the politics today. Trump is guilty as hell for, inciting the insurrection. But guess what? They're saying that they don't care that he incited the insurrection, which they don't understand the what's at stake, the democracy and, the government and things like that or whatever. That's why they want to keep their asses dumb, because they don't understand, but, all of that just to say, yes, it is still happening. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Even with the Me Too movement, not saying that a lot of women did not get sexually assaulted, but a lot of women capitalized off the Me Too movement basically just saying, oh, what happened was, I was sexually assaulted, he made me feel this type of way. Prime example, this white woman had a dream talking about a black man raped her. They tried that man and arrested that man, and he's in prison for rape because she said she had a freaking dream. You know what I'm saying?
She dreamt the charge.
She dreamt the charge, which it never happened. It never happened. But she said she had a dream that it happened. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, for a black man, for you to put your faith and your trust in one of them, and they can just go and say you did something, and all hell is gonna break loose. So when you're crossing over and when you're dealing with what you're dealing with, you deserve everything that comes with everything. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but the vast majority of them are.
No, but that's what I'm getting to, because I've seen even some young, we were talking about hip hop earlier, I've even seen some young hip hop types that are like in their teen and young 20s. And to your point, they are sometimes with some young white women that they are trying to get with because that is seen as the hip or cool thing to do. And I'm of the opinion that there are some out there, not saying all, but there are some out there that literally could cry that you have whistled them at them or done something else wrong when you might not have done jack wrong and everything, but they are able to have the benefit of the doubt, particularly from those in the legal system and all along those lines. And I think that was something that was going on.
Mark, we can even take it a little further. Odell Beckham Jr., he was at an event. He was at some type of sporting event. This white woman was like, he didn't even talk to her. He didn't do this, making up all these accusations. And the man never even knew who she was. You know what I'm saying? Never even knew that she was there. But she making up all these damn accusations about him. Every black man don't want no damn white woman. And they have to understand that. You are not the prize. So, my thing is, when you step across that line, you need to be able to deal with whatever the hell comes with whatever you're dealing with, so whatever you deal with when you with that broad is what you deserve and what you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Because there is no no clout in their what they say. They have lied since the beginning of the damn time. The woman, Emmett Till, the woman who accused Emmett Till, freaking lied, and the boy lost his life based off a lie. Rosewood was based off a damn lie. A whole black community was burned down because a white woman lied. She was cheating on her husband, and she blamed the black man, saying the black man raped her. You know what I'm saying? And a whole black community lost lives and lost their land and lost their homes because one of them broads lied. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't sit here and tell me that, the cloud is with them. The cloud is not with them. So, like I said, I don't believe anything that comes out of their damn mouth. So you can do whatever. You can do whatever. They can be nice, but like Jane Goodall said, all white people are racist. And that's not Dr. Anthony speaking. That's her speaking. I mean, right. Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott.
Yeah. Hotel. Well, this was a lively conversation. We did go down the political lane. Sorry to go down that lane. Didn't know that
you took me there, Mark. I was trying to focus on Cat Williams today, but you took me there.
That's okay.
Sometimes we go left, sometimes we go right.
Yeah. It was still a good conversation, and we hit Cat Williams, we hit Jonathan Major, so we did hit the ones that you wanted to hit and everything. But you know me, I'm going to bring up some politics because I do love political discussion, just like I love my culture and all along those lines. But I think we had a good discussion. I was watching that there were people watching constantly on your YouTube as well as the network's YouTube and on the whole notion. So we're still going for that number one spot. We're going to claim it in 2024 and everything along those lines. So the numbers are continue to rise up there and everything. So we're going to try to build it up. And after a while, maybe we'll be having one of those conversations where they're talking about us hitting the 50 million mark because we're going to get somebody like a Cat Williams or maybe
definitely happening. I'm definitely going to reach out and definitely see if he would consider being a guest on the show so we can talk about some things and clear the air and, keep it real. One real person to another real person.
Hey, as I say, all you can do is, it doesn't hurt to ask. All they can say is no and everything. So I know I've had some interviews with some people that have said yes that surprised me. And sometimes they can surprise you and all along those lines. So there's nothing hurt to ask. And who knows, he might say yes, or Shannon may say yes as to why he did the interview. And there's a couple of other ones that might come on. Who knows, me and Dr. A may even decide to bring the person that we both think is totally insane. And we'll have a whole debate with Mr. Trump because he might be crazy enough to come on our show and all along those lines.
I don't ever want to give him a platform.
I know that's right. Never. And not even his lackeys like Candace Owens.
No, none. No, I can't stand that, Broad. But the clock on the wall says that's all. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another great episode of the All Around. Don't forget to click like and share, and get those social media likes up and those posts up. And we thank you for tuning in, and we will have some more hot topics for you guys and find out what Dr. Anthony thinks and what contribute on the next Monday. So make sure you guys tune in and let's keep it rolling.
Sounds good. So we'll see you.
My loves. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the All Around. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Anthony. Please tune in on Mondays at 6 p.m. for your entertainment purposes. We will hit current topics, old topics, and everything else in between. Be there or be square. Deuces, my loves.